What can we do to create a truly healthy and humane world where all people, animals, and nature can thrive? Most of us want the problems in our communities and the world to be solved. We don't want people to go hungry or be treated unfairly. We don't want the environment to be destroyed. And we don't want animals to be abused. Is such a world even possible? And if it is, how can we make it happen? It is possible. We just need solutionaries. What are solutionaries, you ask? Solutionaries identify unjust, unsustainable, and inhumane systems that cause problems and then work together to solve those problems in ways that do the most good and least harm for people, animals, and the environment.
Have you ever noticed how much plastic and disposable stuff we use here? And almost all the food is made with meat and cheese.
Why is that a problem?
I've been learning about the harmful impacts of disposable plastics and certain kinds of foods on our health, the environment, and animals.
Like what?
Plastics are now so common in the ocean that there's an area twice as big as Texas, full of plastic in the Pacific, and this harms sea life. And animal agriculture is one of the biggest contributors to global warming and water pollution, causes so much animal cruelty, and can harm our health.
Wow, I want to learn more about this so we can solve these problems.
Solutionaries bring a solutionary lens to problems, which helps them not only to identify problems, but also to see all their interconnected causes and solve them in sustainable ways. Solutionaries understand that they must consider all stakeholders, including ecosystems and other species, in order to come up with solutions that do the most good and least harm for everyone. So how does the solutionary process work? Solutionaries choose a problem that they want to solve. It might be a problem in their community, in their country, or in the world. Because smaller local problems are usually easier to solve than bigger global problems, it's wise to start locally, like these students. In doing so, they develop solutions that can also help address more far-reaching problems, like climate change, pollution, inequities, poor health, and animal cruelty. Next, they conduct research to better understand the problem. Solutionaries are investigators who seek to fully understand problems in order to solve them in ways that reduce any unintended negative consequences. They engage in careful, fact-checked research, and they seek out people to learn from, including experts on the problem and its impacts on the environment, on people, and on animals. They talk to others who've worked on similar problems in other places. And they also reach out to people who want to keep the system in place. There are a lot of stakeholders to learn from in order to find solutions that will be accepted and adopted. These students need to talk to other students, cafeteria workers, other school employees and teachers, people being impacted by climate change, animal protection advocates, politicians, the companies supplying food to the school and benefiting from the way things are, experts like scientists and nutritionists, and of course, anyone who has successfully solved similar campaigns in the past. As solutionaries, they listen carefully to everyone, even if they disagree with their opinions. They maintain an open dialogue and build a community to solve the problem they are addressing. So how do people become solutionaries? First, they bring a solutionary lens to problems. This means that they see that problems can be solved. They seek the perspectives of others. They recognize that problems don't exist in isolation. They focus on solutions. And they look for ways to ensure that no people, animals, or ecosystems are harmed by their solution. Next, they have to think like solutionaries, which means they have to become good critical thinkers, systems thinkers, strategic thinkers, and creative thinkers. They learn to see that problems are like the tip of an iceberg, and we have to look below the surface to see what's causing them. Solutionaries identify the interconnected systems that lead to problems, as well as the mindsets, beliefs, and worldviews that give rise to those systems. Solving problems can be challenging. Often, we find ourselves wanting to ease others' suffering, and so we may come up with humanitarian ideas such as raising money for charities to help those in need. It's wonderful to help others, but we need to remember to put as much energy into solving the problems that cause harm and suffering to begin with. And sometimes we just want to clean up the mess in front of us. So we may think of ideas like recycling the plastic waste from the cafeteria. But that doesn't stop the problem of so much disposable plastic being created in the first place, and might even be ineffective because many recycling centers no longer accept these plastics. We still want to recycle, but we need to remember that recycling by itself isn't the answer to the problems of disposable plastic. So while humanitarian and cleanup efforts are important, unless we address the causes of the problem, the climate will continue to warm. People will continue to become ill from unhealthy foods, pollution won't stop, and animals will suffer. The next step for solutionaries is to develop and implement their solutions. To be successful, solutionaries look for a way to change an unhealthy system, like these students are doing as they address the food system at their own school. Their solution is to create a practical, cost-effective plan for transforming their cafeteria so that the foods served and products used are healthy, sustainable, and humane. Then, they work with their school administrators and the chef to make their plan a reality. The result? The food is just as tasty while also being healthy, friendly to the environment, and no longer cruel to animals. The school's food suppliers still make money on the healthier foods, but now other producers like local farmers are able to sell their foods too. There's no more plastic waste to dispose of and pollute the environment because everyone is filling up their reusable bottles and using reusable utensils and plates. What's great is that when systems change, often our mindsets change with them. Where it used to be an inconvenience to eat in healthy, sustainable ways, it no longer is. The new way of doing things can quickly become something that everyone can support. Small victories can then lead to even bigger changes.
You want to help us do this for the whole school district?
Let's do it!
Successful solutionaries will want to share their solutions so that they spread far and wide. How can these solutionaries create more far-reaching changes beyond their own school? Some students might want to work with the media to spread their solutionary ideas. Some might connect with those working in the food system, such as plant-based food companies and local farmers, in order to make it easier to change what's served in cafeterias. Others might want to participate in the political system by working with legislators to pass new laws that help all school districts make the switch to providing students with the healthiest possible foods while not damaging the environment or causing animals to suffer. What does this look like in practice? One group of creative students makes a video to share their message and then organizes a town hall event where the media then report on that message. Another group contacts plant-based food companies and local farmers for support in order to make continuing positive changes to the cafeteria even easier for their own and other school districts. And another group decides to bring all the research and information they've gathered to legislators who can pass laws to stop using taxpayer dollars to support destructive farming practices and start supporting food production that's good for everyone, starting with what's served to children in schools. As you can see, solutionaries come with different interests and skills and bring their unique talents to bear on the problems they care about. They build a community around the problems they want to solve. They work together to create synergistic, systemic solutions that are likely to be adopted. Then, they share their successes widely, inspire others, and take on new challenges, celebrating along the way as a more just, humane, and healthy world unfolds. It's time for all of us to put on our solutionary lenses, think like solutionaries, and work together to solve the problems we face. There's no time to waste. You can make a difference. The world is waiting for your great ideas.